So a mate of mine suggested that I should go post on the ArchLinux subreddit about an Arch video that I made. Not just directly posting the video, but making an informative post and then linking to the video at the end. I went and did this, and now I realize why I don't use Reddit anymore, because this is such a toxic place. So let's get started. Good morning everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So, one thing I want to get out of the way at the start is, if you use Reddit and you're not a terrible person, that's entirely cool. I'm not attacking you for using Reddit. You should probably be doing something better with your time, but if you want to use it in your leisure time, go right ahead. That's what you want to do. So what I'm attacking is the toxic dogpiling that happens on this website, and the massive circle jerk that happens when you get talking about a topic that people actually agree with on the subreddit. So, what spurred this on is, I made a post on the ArchLinux subreddit about my cron job video to download packages. And while I thought that this was a perfectly harmless video, the guys on the ArchLinux subreddit, for the most part, didn't agree. So, I got attacked for people not being able to read, basically. So, I had 5 or 6 people accusing me of this causing partial upgrades. So basically what I was doing was, if you haven't seen the video, I'm using a cron job to download my packages, and then I'm installing them afterwards. So what was happening was people weren't reading the post. They were saying, oh, this causes partial upgrades, this will destroy your system. And the solution they gave, while perfectly good to avoid partial upgrades, so that's cool, they were actually giving good advice there, was the command that I was running. So I was getting attacked on there because I was doing what they said I should do. That is effectively how that breaks down. So there were a couple of guys saying fairly positive things. You occasionally will get that. And as always, when you mention cron jobs, there's that one guy who will come out of the woodwork saying, why are you using cron jobs? Systemd timers exist. And luckily, I had someone come to the rescue and say, because not every system uses systemd. I just gave the response because I didn't care. I just felt like using cron jobs instead of a systemd timer. And I don't think he appreciated that answer, so thank you, guy. I don't remember what your name was, but you're a pretty cool dude. So I looked around outside of my post, looked through the top post, looked through the controversial post, looked through the new posts, and the only posts that had more than 1 or 0 upvotes were either praising Arch as the best thing since sliced bread, or there was this one dude who tried to delete all of his packages and only have the base package left, and by doing so, that caused him to delete grub. And there are a couple of helpful people in there saying, grub isn't part of the base package, so you deleted your bootloader. And then there was this one dude who got really angry because people weren't dogpiling him. Because I guess he'd done something earlier and he got dogpiled for it. So because people weren't being terrible, this dude had to come in, be like, stop being nice. You have to be terrible to this dude because you were terrible to me. So it's this feedback loop of awfulness. One guy gets some terrible response, then if he's a terrible person, we'll say, why is this other person not getting a terrible response? And then the cycle just continues and continues. I don't know why people are at this place. It's such a waste of time. But one thing I did notice is that my traffic did go up, which, considering the fact that I had 0 upvotes and all of these negative comments, seemed really weird. And I realized something from that, because there were a lot of posts that just had 0 upvotes. What I think is the case is that you have a bunch of these technical members going through and just downvoting everything that is potentially slightly wrong, or they don't feel like reading and they're wrong. And then the lurkers, what they do is they understand that the technical people on the subreddit are horrible people. So they just go through and look through the content themselves, which I guess is probably a good thing, really. Because that video ended up, I think, getting 20 views, which my average is around 10, so unless people really were interested in the topic, I think that some traffic actually did come from that post. I haven't checked the analytics, so I'm not 100% sure, but that's the only thing I could think of, because I don't think there's a sudden interest in Arch topics. But hey, maybe there is. But if there's not, then my theory is probably correct. The lurkers know that the technical people are terrible, so they just ignore them. I'm not exactly sure what the cause of all these people being awful is. Maybe it's because Arch is a more complicated distro to install compared to something like Ubuntu. Because yeah, Arch is insanely easy to install, but with Ubuntu, you basically just plug in a USB and boot off of it. Arch, you at least have to do a little bit of configuration. I think the last time I installed Arch, it took me like 50 minutes. Compared to Ubuntu is an eternity, but it's still pretty easy. And I imagine that places like the Gen2 subreddit are probably just as bad. So I don't know, I might make another post there just because it does seem to do pretty good for channel traffic, but I don't know whether I'm going to respond to the people unless I just feel like messing with some people, because that's just fun. That's what I do miss about being on Reddit and actually having a Twitter account where I'd go and mess with people. It's fun to just troll people, and especially when you know you're 100% in the right, because they have no idea what they're talking about. That's always the best kind of trolling. So I imagine there's probably some good people on Reddit, and there's probably some good content on Reddit. I know there's just some good content on Reddit, but digging through subreddits to find it isn't going to get you anywhere. So I know there's a really good post about making your fonts beautiful on Arch, but I found that not by going through Reddit, but by going through DuckDuckGo. And I think that's the best way to experience Reddit. Just find the posts that make it to the absolute top through whatever search engine you use, and enjoy it that way. But for the most part, the ArchLinux subreddit just seems to be full of terrible people, and the place is just a horrible place to be. So, I think that's pretty much everything from me. If you like this video, remember to like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon below if you want to see more from my channel. If you want to leave a comment and you're from the ArchLinux subreddit and you now hate me, hey, love you buddy. And if you also hate the ArchLinux subreddit, or just any subreddit, let me know in the comment section below. So, I've also got a Twitter account. I don't use it to go and post anything besides my videos pretty much, so if you just want a feed of my video updates, or I'll post something else. Maybe I'll talk about some programming stuff. But for the most part, it's basically just a mailing list. So, I think that's pretty much everything from me, and yeah, I'm out.